Hi Susan, welcome to the Community Living Golf Tournament. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll go ahead and let that play through a few times, put you back in your address position, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things. So why we got you here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture. Your spine is straight and on a nice slight tilt. Your legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Your arms hang down nice and naturally out in front of you, and the club works out to the ball, so you're achieving a really nice posture. Also in association with some very nice balance as well. Next thing we want to take a look at has to do with your alignment. We can see your feet aiming a little bit out to the right here. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance of converging, but nonetheless we're still set up sort of out towards the right rough. Therefore, we're going to see some form of a compensation where we're trying to somehow get the ball back towards the center of the fairway. Go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Chella Choi. Got some color-coded lines up here on the screen, just as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Chella, as she initiates her takeaway, she's going to create good shoulder rotation, which draw the arms and hands back as well as the club. And as those shoulders and arms and hands come back with the golf club, basically we want to see the club drawing back directly along the red line, which simply means the club's coming back on a proper swing plane. As she continues to draw that golf club back, she's going to incorporate some wrist hinge into play, allowing the club to transition from below to above the hands, and then working the club from red up to yellow. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, left arm is going to be situated on the yellow line. We're going to have full shoulder rotation, and we do that about a stable right leg, keeping the weight on the inside part of our right foot. As we go ahead and take a look at your takeaway here, we can see that you draw the golf club back quite nicely with your hands and turning your shoulders. Club's coming back on a beautiful swing plane at this point in time. Looks great. As we continue to move back here, club stays a little bit out in front of your hands. No big deal there. Good hinge. And continue to work that golf club back to the top. And that's good looking backswing right there. A little bit of movement in your spine, sort of moving up a little bit. Want to create that rotation, trying to maintain that axis, but nonetheless, turn your shoulders well. You've maintained your spinal tilt, stable right side. Looks like the weight's on the inside part. Your arms are in great geometry relative to your core, and the club's in pretty decent position relative to your arms. Your club is to the right of the blue line. It's not situated within the blue-yellow V zone, but that is common due to the fact that you're aiming out to the right. So if the camera was actually shifted around over here and then looking at where you're aimed, that club would be in the blue-yellow V zone. So you're not actually out of position at the top. As we go ahead and create a transition back in the golf ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left foot. We want to drive our knees and our hips to the target, unwind our core, and fire our hands. And in doing so, we need to get the golf club to return back onto red and back onto plane, which we see there with Chella Choi. The other thing we want to observe here is just the relationship between the lead forearm and the club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means that the club head's remaining above and behind the hands, and therefore we're retaining angle and coming into the golf ball, and that's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, let alone getting the club to return back to plane, as we already pointed out. We watch your transition back in the ball. Excellent rerouting and dropping of the hands and arms and getting the club back to the blue-yellow V zone, then to yellow, and then back working towards red. So that's really, really good here. We can take a look at your lead forearm and your golf club. You have that backwards check mark, so creating power in your golf swing should not be an issue. So that looks really great. The other thing we see is the club has returned back to plane. The only thing that could be refined here is that as you're coming into the ball, you're sort of remaining on a very, your knees are remaining very bent, and your left arm is separating out away from your core a little bit. So as you continue to come into the golf ball and we track the club head, we just want to pay attention to Chella Choi that her club comes into the ball directly from the red line, or actually just slightly underneath it, but she's posting up onto her left side, so her left leg's starting to straighten by point of impact. and our left arm never gets separated too far away from our core. As you keep coming into the golf ball here, club drops underneath the plane a little bit further than hers, so you're going to be attacking the ball a little bit too far from the inside. And if we just sort of connect the dots here, we can get sort of a good sense of that descending plane. Okay, so again, we're aiming out to the right. We're bringing the golf club down into the ball from underneath the plane. So the only issue here is that in order to hit a ball straight, we have to swing the club down on plane in accordance to our alignment. So we had already pointed out that your feet were aimed out in this direction, and you're set up to hit the golf ball over here. Because you're attacking the ball from the inside, there's a good chance you could end up blocking the ball out to the right of where you're aimed because of that inside attack. So right now your club face really has to square up through impact here. So as we come into the ball, we see the club face shutting down. Ball doesn't get lost out to the right, and even starts a little bit left of where you're aimed. So the ball's sort of heading out in this direction. We'll probably get out in the air, and we'll have right to left spin, and we'll be able to sort of draw the ball back towards the intended target. With Chela Choi, she comes in, squares the face up because she has good alignment and a good grip, and not over releasing the club. She's just going to hit that ball relatively pretty straight. As we carry through to the finish, what we want to notice is that, again, there's a lot of change in what your spine is doing. You have a reverse spinal tilt from address. What we're going to notice with Chela Choi, when she swings through, she maintains that spinal axis through to the finishing position, and certainly has a very similar resemblance of her spine when she's done in accordance to where she had started. So you have a complete reverse spinal tilt. If we go back down to address, notice her spine is in the exact same position. If we go back to your address position, we're going to see that your spine is in a completely different location there. So the whole concept of achieving this posture is that when we make a backswing, we want to rotate, we want to maintain the axis. We then want to unrotate back into the ball, posting up on our left side, maintaining the axis. Maintaining the axis all the way through and totally posted up on that left leg. In your golf swing, we see a lot of elevation change. You have a good axis to begin with. You stand up a little bit during your backswing out of the axis. You then dive back down, try and hit the ball while you're pulling away up out of that position. Now, the reason why you're pulling up out of your position is because your subconscious brain knows that you're trying to hit the golf ball to the left because you're aimed to the right. So you're working really hard here to try and pull that golf ball back towards the intended target. Okay? Anyways, your golf swing looks really, really good. A lot of nice athleticism here. Your hands work really, really well back and through. You're coiling back, you're uncoiling through. You've got good footwork that's allowing you to get to a finishing position. The major issue is if we want to be consistent and we want to hit a golf ball straight, we have to have good aim and good downswing plane and a good grip. Unfortunately, your alignment's out to the right too far. You're coming down, actually not on plane, but underneath the plane, but not something that's really going to hurt you too much. And then you're having to over-release the club so you don't lose the ball to the right. So as long as that club face releases through impact here, you will be able to sort of hit a pretty solid draw, hopefully back towards the intended target. If you had improved your alignment, with the same downswing plane, you won't have to over-release the club, and then the spine won't have to work so hard to try and pull the ball back to the left either. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on your golf game, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to do that with you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and looking for a unique gift to provide the guests, certainly feel free to touch base with me. All my contact information is at the end of this video, and I can be reached via email or phone. Okay? Anyways, I hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video, and hope you have a great summer.